Hey everyone. Welcome to AfriHeart Stories, your go-to spot for African tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe and drop a comment. Now sit back and enjoy. Amma woke before dawn, the penthouse's grand windows already aglow with the first blush of sunrise. Her cotton uniform was spotless, a symbol of her pride, and with practiced precision she arranged the glass vases on the marble coffee table. Each bloom reflected in the polished surface, a testament to the order she created in the sprawling home of Tecmac CEO Kofi Mensa. "Good morning, Amma," called Ike, her friend and the household cook, from the open kitchen doorway. Steam curled from a massive pot of porridge. Amma offered a tired smile. "Morning, Ike. It smells wonderful." She paused to wipe her palms on her apron. "Anything special today?" Ike laughed softly. "Just the usual, porridge and akra. But you might need the energy. Mr. Daniel arrives for breakfast." Amma's heart skipped. Daniel Mensa, Kofi's elder brother, was handsome and composed, but his mood could shift like a storm. As she arranged cutlery in the dining room, her mind drifted back to her village. How her parents sold their only goat to send her here, trusting she'd transform hardship into hope. She'd promised them, and herself, that she'd be beyond scrubbing floors, but gratitude kept her loyally at this very hearth. The doors opened and Daniel swept in, tailored suit immaculate, dark eyes scanning the china cabinets. He nodded at Ike, who ladled porridge into bowls. Amma's fingers tightened around the tray as she approached the breakfast table. "Ike, could you pass the juice?" Daniel asked, voice smooth as silk. But before Ike could respond, Amma froze. On the polished floor near Kofi's chair lay a tiny glass vial, its cap loose, a pale residue clinging to the sides. Ike's spoon hovered midair. Daniel's gaze flicked to Amma. A flicker of worry passed over his face, quickly replaced by polite indifference. Amma's heart thudded. She crouched and slipped the vial into her apron pocket, careful to avoid drawing attention. Ike blinked at her, then focused back on the table, pouring porridge. Kofi burst in, tie loosened, hair rumpled from travel. "Sorry I'm late," he said, seating himself. He picked up the glass of orange juice, unaware of the danger that had just slipped beneath his fingertips. "You missed me, Amma?" he teased. Amma managed a nod, throat tight. "Good morning, sir." As Kofi sipped, Amma's eyes met Daniel's across the table. He smiled, no warmth there but a challenge. In that moment, Amma realized that something far more lethal than spilled juice was brewing within these walls. And she would be the one to stop it. Amma returned to the breakfast table, pouring a gentle stream of tea into her china cup. Across from her, Daniel polished the rim of his orange juice glass with one long finger. Ike slid another plate of akra toward him. Daniel's eyes flicked to Amma. "You seemed distracted this morning," he said smoothly, voice just above a whisper. "Is something the matter?" Amma lifted her gaze, masking her fear. "I thought I saw broken glass near Mr. Mensa's chair," she replied. "When I bent down it looked like a vial." Daniel's lips curved into a polite smile, but his eyes turned cold. "It's nothing," he said softly. "Probably just a cosmetic bottle that slipped from your closet." A pang of memory shot through Amma, the childhood neighbor whose aunt had slipped poison into her tea as a cruel joke, leaving her bedridden for weeks. The recollection of that helpless terror made Amma's pulse race. She forced a smile. "I'll clean it up right away." After breakfast, while Ike washed dishes, Amma slipped into the breakfast room. She retrieved the vial from under Kofi's chair and wrapped it in a clean cloth. Each step she took felt heavy, as if the penthouse itself resisted her. She slipped through the servants' corridor and headed for her quarters. Inside, she set the cloth-wrapped vial on her narrow wooden desk and unwrapped it carefully. The residue was pale yellow, like diluted honey. Amma frowned. Honey never looked like this. She fetched a glass of lemon water from Ike's kitchen and dropped a tiny speck of the residue into it. Within seconds, the water darkened to a sickly amber. Her stomach churned. This was no cosmetic oil. A soft knock at her door startled her. She hid the vial inside her desk drawer and opened the door to find Nana, Kofi's personal assistant, standing there. Nana's brow was furrowed. "Amma, sir asked if you could prepare his briefcase for today's meeting." Amma nodded. "Of course." She tucked away her fear and followed Nana down the corridor. But as they walked, Amma's mind raced. Daniel's indifferent denial, the vial's deadly residue, and Kofi's coming meeting, everything pointed to one truth: Daniel intended to harm his brother. Later that afternoon, Amma paused before the study door, Nana's briefcase heavy in her hands. Through the frosted glass she saw Daniel's silhouette bent over documents. His phone buzzed, He slid a finger across the screen and smiled to himself. Amma's breath caught. She realized Daniel was already setting his plan in motion, scheduling Kofi's schedule around poison moments. Her fingers trembled on the doorknob. A single thought pulsed through her mind. She could root out the truth here and now or risk returning to find Kofi lost forever. Amma squared her shoulders and stepped inside. Amma shut the study door behind her and offered a curt nod to Daniel, who looked up in mild surprise. He closed his laptop. "I didn't know you entered," he said. "Can I help you?" Amma swallowed. "Your brother's smelling salts for tonight's gala are missing, sir." She forced a steady tone. "I thought they were here." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "They're in the bar cabinet." He tapped on the desk. "Help yourself." Amma kept her face impassive. She crossed to the bar where she'd spied the vial days before and opened the cabinet. Inside lay rows of crystal decanters. She considered seizing the salt container and Daniel's attention, then thought better of it. Instead, she grabbed a clean test glass and slipped it to the kitchen. In the cook's pantry, she found Ike testing spices and whispered, "I need your help." They returned to Amma's quarters, where the cloth-wrapped vial sat ominous on the desk. Ike's eyes widened when Amma unwrapped it. "You think it's poison?" Amma nodded and dropped a pinprick of residue into a glass of fizzy water. Ike appeared. The water fizzed, then turned a murky brown. "That's not oil," Ike said, voice tight. "That's enough to make someone sick." Amma's heartbeat sounded in her ears. "We need proof." She rummaged in a drawer for her phone. "You still have that chemistry app?" Ike nodded and scrolled through her phone. Together they recorded the reaction on video, documenting the color change and chemical notation from the app. When they finished, Amma pocketed the phone. "We have evidence," she said, voice low. "Now we need to get it to Kofi." Kay bit her lip. "Amma, do you trust Nana?" Amma hesitated. She knew Nana's loyalty to Kofi but worried the assistant would hesitate over scandal. "I have to." That night, Amma waited until the lights were low in the penthouse and crept to Nana's door. She slipped the phone through the crack. A soft click sounded from inside. Amma stepped back. The door creaked open. Nana's eyes shone in the dim hallway light. "I got these," Nana murmured, holding up the phone. "What do we do?" Before Amma could answer, Daniel's voice thundered from the end of the corridor. "Nana, where are my files?" Amma's heart leapt. Nana's eyes went wide, she flinched. Amma grabbed Nana's hand. "Hide this," she whispered, pressing the phone into Nana's palm. They darted in opposite directions. Footsteps rang against the marble floor. Daniel appeared, hands on his hips. He looked at Amma with suspicion. "Why are you running?" Amma bowed her head. "Cleaning, sir." Daniel's gaze lingered, but he turned and stalked off. Amma exhaled. She had proof, but Daniel was closer than she thought. The charity gala at the Grand Arbor Hotel glittered with crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes. Amma adjusted her uniform in the staff quarters and gripped the strap of her service tray. Tonight, she was on drink service, an assignment she had dreaded since learning Daniel's medical background. In the ballroom, wealthy patrons mingled beneath floral arches. Amma kept to the periphery, refilling water glasses and polishing rims. She scanned every face, searching for Daniel. Then she saw him at the end of the bar, leaning close to Kofi, who laughed and patted Daniel's arm. A silver platter of champagne stood between them. Amma's pulse spiked. Daniel reached for a decanter hidden just out of view, tipped the flute and poured. The bubbles foamed gold, a single drop of residue swirling at the brim. Kofi raised the glass. Amma's breath caught. She moved forward, clutching her tray. A waiter brushed past. Amma jostled the bar, causing a bottle to slip and shatter near her feet. Guests turned, startled. She knelt quickly, whispered, "Excuse me," and scooped up a shard of glass on her napkin. Meanwhile, Daniel refilled Kofi's flute. Amma stashed the glass piece in her pocket and scanned the decanters. They all looked identical, except the one Daniel had just used. She had to act now. Taking a steadying breath, she picked up an empty water glass and approached Daniel as he walked toward Kofi. "Sir," Amma said softly, touching Daniel's elbow. He paused, frowning. "May I?" Amma gestured to the decanter on the high shelf. Daniel's jaw tightened. "This one's mine," he snapped, but Amma only smiled politely. She stepped onto a stool, reached above his shoulder, and lifted the decanter. Cold crystal pressed in her hands as she carried it to the service table. Daniel's eyes burned with fury. "Give it back." Amma turned and set the decanter down, then filled a silver service pitcher with water. She stepped away. "I'll get fresh ones for everyone." As she walked toward Kofi's table, Daniel's smile was razor-thin. Amma placed the pitcher on Kofi's table, swapped his flute for a fresh glass of water, then dropped a mental prayer. Kofi blinked, surprised by the change. Daniel watched. Amma's hand steadied as she receded into the crowd. But Daniel trailed her with his gaze. Tonight's gala would end in chaos, and Amma would be at its heart. Amma hovered at the fringe of the ballroom as Kofi lifted his glass, smiling at a passing ambassador. Daniel stood close behind, expression unreadable. Amma knew the danger hadn't passed, it had only shifted. A server rattled a tray of hors d'oeuvres, drawing attention. Amma seized her moment. She moved swiftly, sliding between tuxedos and gowns toward the bar. She grabbed the decanter Daniel had used earlier, its stopper loose, residue visible inside. Daniel spun around. "What do you think you're doing?" Amma kept her voice steady. "Replacing the water for Mr. Mensa." She lifted a champagne flute from the bar and tipped its contents into the nearest trash bin. The liquid splashed, amber droplets glinting. Gasps rose from nearby guests. Daniel's hand shot out. He barreled toward her. Amma backed up, heart hammering, and slipped the decanter behind her back. "I'm keeping Kofi safe," she said evenly. Daniel's face twisted. He lunged. Amma darted past. A waiter collided with him, sending Daniel stumbling. Amma sprinted across the room, weaving through shocked patrons. She reached Kofi's table and grabbed his arm. "Kofi, over here," she hissed. He followed her gaze to the spilled glasses. He frowned. "Amma, what?" A sudden crash. A waiter had tripped over the debris, sending trays flying. The chandelier above rattled ominously. Daniel recovered and stormed toward Amma and Kofi. Amma's heart lurched as Daniel raised a clenched fist. Kofi stepped between them. "Daniel, stop," he shouted. The hall fell silent. Chandeliers sparkled as Daniel's chest heaved. Amma reached out and touched Kofi's arm. "He's dangerous," she whispered. Daniel's eyes flickered from Amma to Kofi, and then he backed away, face pale. Security guards emerged from the side doors, alerted by the commotion. They moved in, flanking Daniel. Daniel glared at Amma. Blood pounded in her ears. Kofi stared, shock and betrayal warring in his eyes. He realized in a single heartbeat that his own brother had tried to kill him, and that Amma had stopped him. Amma and Kofi moved away from the stunned guests into the hotel's marble foyer. Security hovered nearby. Amma's heart pounded as she guided Kofi toward a quiet corner by a potted orchid. "Kofi," Amma began, voice low, "your brother, he's been trying to poison you." Kofi's brows knitted. "Amma, is this?" She produced the cloth-wrapped vial she'd secreted in her apron pocket. Unfolding it, she revealed the residue-stained glass. Kofi's eyes widened. "Where did you find this?" Amma swallowed. "At home. Under your chair that morning. I tested it." She described the lemon water discoloration and the gala intervention. Kofi sank onto a leather bench, grief and fury warring on his face. "My own brother," he whispered. "Daniel loved the business as much as I did. But after our father's will, they cut him out." Amma stood firm. "He thinks you stole everything. He's punishing you for being successful." Kofi's jaw clenched. "I never wanted this." He ran a hand through his hair. "I wanted us to share it all. But the board backed me." A soft beep sounded from Kofi's phone. He glanced at it, a text from Daniel. "I warned you, Amma. You'll regret this." Amma's blood ran cold. Daniel knew she'd acted. "We need proof outside his confession. The police need tangible evidence." Kofi nodded. "Right." He tapped his phone. Security footage from the gala should show him at the bar. Amma remembered how she'd glimpsed him slipping decanters, but the main cameras faced the center of the room. "I think I disabled one camera when I created the spill." She squared her shoulders. "But I sent the video of the chemical test to Nana." Kofi's eyes flicked to hers. "Nana, the assistant?" Amma nodded. "She'll back me." Kofi stood. "Let's get back to the penthouse. We need her testimony and the gala footage." Amma exhaled. Outside, a light Lagos rain pattered against the entrance. As they stepped out, Amma hesitated. "What about Daniel?" Kofi's expression darkened. "I'll confront him, after we gather proof. Tonight we'll return home and plan." Amma forced a steady nod. The air felt heavy with looming confrontation. As they drove away, Amma thought of Daniel's warning, "You'll regret this." She gripped the seatbelt. Whatever came next, she would stand her ground. As the taxi pulled away, Daniel appeared under the hotel awning, eyes fixed on Amma's departing back. a phone pressed to his ear. He's slipping away. Stop her. Back at the penthouse, rain lashed the windows. Amma and Kofi entered the grand foyer, lanterns casting flickering shadows. Ika and Nana awaited them in the study, tension palpable. Nana held Amma's phone, the gallery app open. I reviewed the videos, she said quietly. We have clear footage of the chemical reaction in your quarters. She tapped a thumbnail. But we need more footage of Daniel handling the decanter. Kofi rubbed his temples. Let's start with the gala feed. Security archives are password protected. Amma led them to the security room. 5 monitors displayed blank screens. A single guard sat at a console. Amma cleared her throat. Excuse me, sir. We need to review last night's ballroom footage. The guard frowned. I'll need authorization. Kofi produced his CEO ID. I'm Kofi Mensa. I need to review gala footage immediately. The guard scanned the ID, then punched in credentials. One monitor flickered to life, showing the ballroom. Amma's throat tightened. Daniel stood behind the bar, sliding a hand-carved decanter into his bag. Amma motioned to Nana, who captured screen images on her phone. Got it, Nana whispered. But we need timestamps. Amma watched the timeline slider. She tracked the moment when she'd staged the spill, the exact second Daniel replaced the decanter. She snapped multiple photos. The guard cleared his throat. Anything else? Amma feigned calm. No, thank you. Once they exited, Kofi exhaled. We have the gala proof and the chemical test video. That's sufficient for a warrant. Amma's phone buzzed. A new text from an unknown number. Stop digging or someone else dies. Nana's hand trembled. This is threatening. Amma locked eyes with Kofi. They know we're investigating. Kofi's face hardened. Then we go public. We file with the police and the board. If Daniel tries anything else, he'll be stopped. Suddenly the lights flickered and went out. Thunder rumbled overhead. Darkness swallowed the study. Amma's breath hitched. Power's off. Kofi's phone lit up, an alert of multiple failed login attempts to his email account. He's trying to erase digital traces. Nana's voice quavered. What do we do? Kofi drew a deep breath. We move to Plan B. Outside the study window, lightning revealed a shadowy figure pressing a palm against the glass. Daniel, grinning. The backup generator hummed as a faint glow returned. Amma, Kofi, Ika, and Nana reconvened in the study, adrenaline sharp in their veins. Kofi laid out the evidence on his desk. We'll present this to the police first thing tomorrow. Tonight we lock down. Amma's phone rattled ominously. Your loyalty will cost you. She showed the message. Aka's fork scratched her plate. He's desperate. Nana frowned. We should call the detective who worked on that toxin analysis. Kofi nodded, dialing. Detective Sarpong. We need your help, any protection you can offer. Amma examined the desk drawer where she'd hidden the vial. It was slightly ajar. Her pulse stuttered. Someone's been here. Kofi's gaze sharpened. Are you hurt? Amma shook her head. No. But the vial's missing. Silence fell. Nana paled. The toxin. Amma bit her lip. If Daniel got it back, he could strike again. Kofi reached for his phone. I'll call security to track any intruders. Amma paced. We should hide the remaining evidence off-site, somewhere Daniel can't access. Ika stood. My sister runs a private archive. Secure remote. Amma's relief was immediate. Let's go. They gathered the phone with the acid test video and the gala screenshots. Nana slipped them into an envelope. Kofi tucked it into his jacket. Ika opened the door. As they stepped into the corridor, lights blinked, casting elongated shadows. A silhouette blocked their path. Daniel, arms folded, lips curled into a triumphant smile. Kofi, Daniel intoned softly, you shouldn't have dragged her into this. Kofi squared his shoulders. It ends tonight, Daniel. Daniel's eyes flicked to Amma. You should have stayed a maid. Amma's chest tightened. She backed up, until the wall pressed against her. Kofi stepped between them. Daniel, step aside. Daniel shook his head. First, a family talk. His hand slipped into his pocket. Amma stiffened. Don't. In one swift motion, Daniel withdrew something gleaming. Amma's breath caught, a syringe. Daniel advanced, syringe raised, and Amma summoned every ounce of courage. Daniel's arm trembled as he advanced, syringe glinting in the corridor light. Amma froze, heartbeat roaring. Kofi, she gasped. Daniel's lips curved. You think you're clever? You're nothing but a servant. He stepped closer. I'll finish this tonight. Kofi lunged forward. Daniel, stop. He grabbed Daniel's wrist. The syringe slipped to the floor. Amadov snatching it. Daniel yanked free. Give it back. Amma held the syringe behind her back. You'll use it on him. Daniel's jaw clenched. Get out of my way. He reached for Amma. From behind, a soft click. Ike had activated the study door lock. Daniel's eyes flicked to the handle, locked. Shut it, he snarled. He glared at Ike. Open this door now. Ike's hand trembled. I'm not letting you hurt him. Daniel's gaze snapped back to Amma. You betrayed me. Amma's hand shook around the syringe. No more. Nana's voice echoed from the study. Police are on their way. Daniel laughed, hollow, chilling. You think law enforcement will help? I own half this city. He strode forward. Amma backed away, heart racing. She pressed closer to Kofi. We can't let him get to you. Daniel stopped 2 paces away. Watch me. Suddenly the corridor lights went out, plunging them into darkness. A distant siren wailed. In the blackness, Daniel's breathing grew heavy. Amma could nearly feel his presence. She gripped Kofi's hand, eyes closed. Then headlights flooded the corridor as police SUVs screeched outside. Flashing blue lights spilled in. Daniel hissed, footsteps retreating. Amma flung open her jacket and brandished the syringe. He's armed, she shouted into the darkness. A beam of flashlight landed on Daniel as 2 officers stormed in. He lunged, but they tackled him to the floor. Hands cuffed his wrists. Amma sank against the wall, trembling. Kofi knelt beside her, brushing her hair back. Are you okay? Amma nodded, voice small. He could have. Kofi wrapped her in an embrace. You saved me. As officers led Daniel away, Amma noticed a flash drive clutched in his hand, bearing her village's crest. The penthouse study buzzed with activity. Detective Sarpong examined Daniela's cuffed hands. Security cameras replayed the gala footage. Amma, still shaking, watched as officers placed Daniel into a cruiser. Kofi closed the study door and pulled Amma aside. You did more than save me, you exposed a family conspiracy. Amma's fingers toyed with the flash drive she'd slipped from Daniel's pocket. He found this among my things. Kofi's expression darkened. That crest, it's from your village. Amma exhaled. My parents' stamp of authenticity. I carry it always. Detective Sarpong approached. Sir, we have Daniel in custody and the gala footage. We'll press charges, but there's more. He nodded at the flash drive. We need to know what's on this. Amma and Kofi exchanged a glance. Let's review it privately, Kofi said. He guided Amma to a secluded lounge. Inside they inserted the drive. Folders popped up. Names, figures, bloodstained documents, and banking records tying Techmax board members to illicit funds. Amma's eyes widened. This goes beyond Daniel. Kofi's jaw clenched. Daniel was the pawn. Someone else is pulling the strings. Amma scrolled. These addresses, they lead to offshore accounts and a small lab outside Lagos. Kofi sank onto a sofa. We need to get ahead of this. If the board tries to bury it, he pressed his palm to his forehead. I have to protect you. Amma knelt beside him. No. We do this together. That night, lightning flashed over the city. Amma realized that though Daniel was locked away, the real enemy was still at large. They'd uncovered a conspiracy threatening not just Kofi's life but the integrity of his company, and Amma's own past. A secure message pinged on Amma's phone. You shouldn't have taken the drive. We're coming for you both. The weekend retreat at Silver Springs Lodge promised calm. A rustic chalet perched on a hillside, far from the city's clamor. Kofi and Amma arrived late Saturday afternoon, the sky bruised with gathering storm clouds. Amma surveyed the winding driveway, her heart tight with foreboding. Daniel's threat still echoed, stop this or someone dies. They settled into the main lodge's cozy sitting room, where a crackling fire fought the chill. Kofi poured 2 cups of mint tea. This will calm us, he said, offering a cup. Amma nodded, her grip firm on the mug. We should check every drink, every utensil, she whispered. Kofi set his cup down. I've arranged a private dinner in the dining room. No interruptions. He frowned. Do you trust the staff here? Amma thought back to the local manager who greeted them, polite but eyes too curious. We'll double-check. That night, as lanterns glowed through rain-streaked windows, Amma slipped from their suite with a tray of beverages. She carried spoons, glasses, and a flask of mint tea. At the corridor's fork, she encountered a housekeeper replacing towels. Good evening, Amma whispered. Mind if I? The woman's smile wavered. Certainly. She moved aside. Amma proceeded, mind racing. Daniel could have bribed any staff. In the dining room, Kofi sat at the long oak table, chandelier light dancing on polished silverware. A single candle flickered between them. Amma set the tray down, examining each glass before filling it from the flask. "Here you are," she said softly. Kofi glanced up. "Thank you." Outside, thunder rumbled. The power flickered, once, twice, and the chandelier dimmed. Amma's pulse quickened as she noticed the only unlocked window at the far end of the room. A sliver of rain-drenched veranda visible beyond. Kofi raised his glass to his lips. Amma froze. That glass was not from her tray. Her mouth went dry as she saw the condensation, tiny amber beads at the rim. Kofi paused mid-sip, eyes narrowing. "Amma?" he asked. She moved to him, voice trembling. "That's not safe." Grabbing the glass, she carried it to the fireplace and tipped it out. The liquid hissed as it touched hot embers, brown smoke curling upward. A floorboard creaked behind her. Amma turned. A shadow glided past the open window. Rainwater pooled on the sill. She dashed forward, peering out, but only the storm-tossed pines swayed beyond. Heart-pounding, Amma bolted back. Kofi stood rigid, fury and fear warring on his face. "He was here," Amma whispered. "Daniel, he came to replace the glass." Kofi strode to the window. Why would he risk coming here? Amma swallowed. Because he knows he needs one more attempt. She looked back to the table, the dinner plates untouched, the candle guttering. "The next sip could have killed you." Kofi took Amma's hand. "I owe you my life." His voice cracked. "But now we know, he's closer than we thought." Outside, the storm redoubled its fury. Amma's gaze drifted to the dark veranda, imagining Daniel's silhouette slipping away into the night. A distant thunderclap masked the soft click of the dining room door, and a whisper of footsteps on the wet terrace. By dawn, Silver Springs lay shrouded in mist. Amma and Kofi convened in the study, maps and schedules spread across a mahogany desk. The photos from Daniel's hotel ambush and the stolen flash drive data lay between them. Detective Sarpong had promised backup, but his unit was delayed by flooded roads. Kofi tapped his watch. "We must intercept Daniel before he strikes again." Amma studied the retreat's layout: service entrances, staff quarters, security camera blind spots. He used the veranda. "There's a maintenance shed at the back with a side passage to the staff parking lot." Kofi nodded. "We'll leave separately. You cut off his escape, I'll secure the back door." Their plan hinged on perfect timing. Amma donned a dark raincoat and slipped out through the staff entrance, retracing Daniel's nighttime path. Waterlogged leaves carpeted the ground. She moved silently, every shadow her ally. At the shed, she found the padlock shattered, hinges rusted. Inside, lantern light revealed a stack of garden tools and a lone motorcycle helmet. Amma's breath caught, Daniel's signature misdirection. She pocketed the helmet and crept into the staff lot. Empty cars lined the area, save one SUV with its headlights off. Amma's phone buzzed. "Detective Sarpong, we're 5 minutes out." She pressed the helmet to her chest. Daniel had to pass through here to reach the city road. Amma positioned herself behind a low wall. Rain dripped from her hood. Her eyes flicked to the distant lodge, lights on in the windows. Meanwhile, Kofi crept to the back door only to find it ajar. His heart lurched. He slipped inside the shed, seeing footprints in the mud, fresh and wide. He dialed Amma. No answer. Amma spotted the SUV's door swing open and Daniel step out, raincoat soaked. He shook water from his hair, unloaded a duffel bag and strode toward the road. Amma's muscles tensed. She lunged, grabbing his arm. Daniel spun, eyes blazing. "Get off me." He shoved her into the wall. She stumbled but caught herself, pressing the helmet strap into Daniel's ribs. He doubled over, cursing. Kofi burst through the door, gun drawn. "Police!" he shouted. Daniel straightened, fury and fear colliding. Sirens wailed in the distance. Daniel bolted toward the lodge. Amma and Kofi chased him through the rain. The mud sucked at their boots. Daniel vanished around a corner. Amma skidded to a halt. "This way," she called, flashing her light down a narrow path. Kofi followed. Ahead, Detective Sarpong's headlights cut through the gloom. Officers spilled out, surrounding Daniel as he broke into a sprint. He raised his hands in mock surrender. Amma exhaled, rain stinging her face. Kofi dropped to one knee, breathless. "You did it." Amma shook her head. "It's not over, he was working for someone else." Detective Sarpong cuffed Daniel. "You're safe now," he said to Amma. But as Daniel was led away, his grin was cold. Amma felt a prickle at the back of her neck. In the patrol car's rearview mirror, Daniel mouthed two words, "Not over." Back in Lagos, the Mensa penthouse felt both sanctuary and battleground. Daniel's arrest had made headlines, CO's brother accused of attempted fratricide, and the board demanded answers. In the high-rise study, Kofi faced the board chair, Madame Obairi flanked by directors. Amma stood just inside the door. Madame Obairi's gaze was icy. "Kofi Mensa, is this family drama going to derail the IPO?" Kofi's voice was calm but strained. "My brother has been acting alone. I'll handle the fallout." Amma felt a tug at her sleeve. Nana whispered, "The press is camped outside." Kofi excused himself and Amma. They retreated to the lounge where the storm outside mirrored their tension. Amma sank into a sofa. "What now?" Kofi pressed his palms to his eyes. "The board wants damage control. They'll bury the flash drive's data unless we can prove a wider conspiracy." Amma drew a shaky breath. "We have Detective Sarpong's lab report on the neurotoxin. And the gala footage." Kofi nodded. "But we need Daniel to testify, and for that we need leverage." Amma's eyes fell on the coffee table. A framed photo of her village, her parents smiling under a mango tree. Daniel had slipped that flash drive into her pocket. Sabotage or warning? Amma clenched her fists. "He was trying to tarnish my reputation." Kofi sat beside her. "Your integrity is beyond question." Amma stood. "Then we go to the media." Kofi inhaled sharply. "Publicly?" Amma's gaze hardened. "Expose every layer. Daniel's arrest, the lab, the offshore accounts. If we go silent now, we'll be complicit." Kofi rose, resolve settling in. "You're right." He tapped his tablet. "I'll draft a press statement." Suddenly the lounge lights flickered. A power surge rattled the windows. Amma's stomach dropped. Another warning. A folder slid onto the coffee table, though no one had entered. Amma picked it up. Inside, photographs of her parents' cottage annotated with her name and address. Kofi's eyes followed hers. "They're threatening your family." Amma's voice was fierce. "They wanted me quiet. They underestimated me." Kofi closed the distance. "We'll protect them." A phone buzzed, Nana's message, "Mensa is stepping forward. He wants to talk." Amma exchanged a look with Kofi. The real mastermind. As Kofi dialed, Amma wondered if confronting Mensa would finally end the conspiracy, or plunge them into deeper danger. Kofi's press briefing was scheduled at Tecmac's headquarters. The vast auditorium buzzed with journalists, cameras trained on the podium. Amma stood behind him, a silent sentinel. On stage, Kofi cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on short notice. This week my family and I have endured a grave betrayal. My brother attempted to harm me, an act born of resentment and manipulation." He paused, voice steady. But this was not an isolated incident. At his side, Detective Sarpong stepped forward, placing a tablet on the lectern. He tapped it, and the giant screen behind them flickered to life with gala footage. Daniel surreptitiously swapping decanters, Amma intervening, the chemical reaction test. Gasps rippled through the audience. "This video," Kofi continued, "documents attempted poisoning. We also have lab confirmation, a rare neurotoxin used in clandestine operations." The detective nodded, holding up the lab report. "Analysis confirms the substance is VX derivative, deadly in microdoses." Reporters scribbled. Flashbulbs popped. Kofi raised a hand. "Daniel Mensa has been arrested and charged. But this conspiracy reaches further." He cleared his throat and pressed a button. The screen shifted to spreadsheets and banking records, offshore accounts, shell companies, and board names. A reporter's shout cut through. "Are you implying corporate complicity?" Kofi met the question with calm transparency. "Yes. I will be filing suit against board members implicated in embezzlement and attempted murder." He turned to Amma. "My sincere gratitude to Amma Boateng, whose courage saved my life and uncovered this conspiracy." Amma felt the room tilt. Reporters swarmed the stage, questions fired like bullets. Kofi answered each with precision. Amma met Detective Sarpong's proud nod. As the briefing closed, Kofi escorted Amma through a crush of media. Outside, rain had begun anew. Amma paused at the lobby doors, glancing back at the flashing lights. Kofi slipped beside her. "They can't ignore this now." Amma exhaled, rain-dark hair plastered to her face. "The truth is out." He took her hand. "But the real test begins, rooting out the true mastermind." Suddenly, a voice crackled from Kofi's phone speaker. "You've exposed everything, now you face consequences." Amma's stomach lurched. A black SUV idled at the curb. The tinted windows slid down to reveal Mensa's cold smile. Mensa's invitation to a private meeting sent a chill through Amma and Kofi. They arrived at a discreet conference room on the top floor of TechMax HQ. The door slid open to reveal Mensa, elegant, composed, and deadly. Seated behind a sleek glass table, he gestured for them to sit. "Congratulations on your press conference," Mensa began, voice silky. "You've played your cards well." He tapped a folder. "But you've both been misinformed." Kofi set the folder between them. "Our evidence is irrefutable." Mensa's lips curved. "Let's look closer." He opened the folder to reveal photographs of Kofi signing a backdated contract and financial ledgers with Amma's signature. Documents she never saw. Amma's blood ran cold. "Forgery?" she whispered. Mensa leaned back. "It appears you, Amma, have been a key witness on paper." He produced a flash drive. "Captured on Daniel's phone during your confrontation." Kofi's eyes narrowed. "You framed her?" Mensa shrugged. "You both have skeletons. But I'm offering a way forward." He slid a second folder across the table. Evidence of rival corporations plotting a hostile takeover of TechMax, with Mensa as a double agent. Amma stared at the files. "Why should we trust you?" Mensa's gaze was steely. "Because you have no choice. The board will oust Kofi unless this scandal dies, on both sides. I can provide clearance in exchange for your cooperation." Kofi's jaw clenched. "You're blackmailing us." Mensa smiled. "Business as usual." He rose. "Decide by tomorrow. After that, I cannot protect you." He turned and left. The door slid shut, leaving Amma and Kofi alone in the sterile room. Amma's throat was dry. "He set us up." Kofi sank into a chair. "He holds all the leverage." Amma squared her shoulders. "Then we take the only path left. We uncover proof of his own corruption, and destroy him first." Kofi looked up, determination ignited. "Let's finish this." As they rose, the PA system crackled. All staff locked down the building immediately. The storm-racked city skyline lay beyond the penthouse windows as Amma and Kofi pored over Mensa's binders. The evidence of board collusion and forged documents stared back at them, ink too perfect to be coincidence. Kofi ran a hand through his hair. Mensa was never just a PR executive. He built the crisis management unit. He engineered Daniel's frame, the media leaks, everything. Amma's gaze hardened. "He played us both. But he slipped." The flash drive shows his offshore holdings under a shell called Golden Grove Limited. "We trace that, we expose him." Kofi nodded. "Detective Sarpong will help." He tapped his phone. "He's en route." Amma watched the rain streak the glass. "We need a plan." She traced a finger across the ledger showing payments to the untraceable lab. "This lab made the neurotoxin. If we raid it, we link Mensa to attempted murder." Kofi exhaled slowly. "It's risky, but we have to act now before Mensa moves again." A knock at the door heralded Nana's arrival. She placed 2 cups of coffee on the mahogany table. The building lockdown lifted, for now. Security reports no intruders. Kofi accepted a cup. "Thank you." He glanced at Amma. "We strike at dawn." Amma rose. "I'll meet Sarpong at the docks. He has the warrants." Outside, thunder rolled. As Amma turned, her phone buzzed. "You crossed the line. This is your last warning." No sender, only a blacked-out number. Amma showed Kofi. He crushed the cup in his hand. "He's everywhere." Amma inhaled. "That just means we outmaneuver him." Night deepened. Amma grabbed her jacket and glanced back at Kofi. He gave a small, resolute nod. "See you at first light." She stepped into the corridor, heels clicking on marble, each echo a countdown. Amma's mind raced. The lab could be guarded, Mensa's men lying in wait. But she had no choice. As she exited the service elevator, the door slid closed on her silhouette, and on the final view of Kofi, alone in the dim foyer, resolve and dread etched on his face. In the reflection of the elevator doors, Amma glimpsed a dark figure slipping into the shadows, a silhouette she recognized only too well. Gray dawn light seeped through the warehouse district's corrugated roofs as Amma pulled her hood low and approached Dock 17. Detective Sarpong stood by a black SUV, folder in hand. He nodded curtly. "Warrants ready." Amma climbed in. "What do we know?" Sarpong tapped the folder. Maps of Golden Grove Limited lab, an abandoned textile factory retrofitted for clandestine research. Guards were sighted during night shifts, cameras lined the main entrance, but the south wall had a service hatch seldom used. Amma studied the grainy satellite images. We used the hatch. They parked 2 blocks away and approached on foot. Amma's pulse drummed in her ears. Each step toward danger ignited memories of poison juice and near, fatal sips. At the south wall, Amma found the hatch. Its welded seam was brittle. Sarpong produced a portable grinder. Sparks flew as metal bit into metal. A low hum of generators drifted from within. Inside the factory, corridors branched in every direction. Dripping pipes and the hum of refrigeration units filled the air. Amma clicked on her phone's camera light. Sarpong led the way, whispering, "Stay close." They reached a reinforced door marked Lab B. Amma peered through the small window, stainless steel counters lined with glass vials, machines whirring. A guard's reflection flickered as he passed. Amma drew in a slow breath. "I'll distract him." She slipped around the corner, slipping onto the loading dock. She kicked a loose metal barrel. It clanged against the concrete. The guard spun, flashlight beams slicing the darkness. Sarpong moved. He disabled the guard with a precise takedown, muffling a groan. Amma slipped inside. The lab smelled of antiseptic and chemicals. Dozens of labeled vials sat in cryo trays. Amma snapped photos of labels, VXX, Nuruxin 6. She filmed the machines mixing compounds, the sterile notebooks tracking weekly batches. Footsteps echoed. Through the glass door came 2 men in lab coats, arguing in hushed tones. Amma pressed herself against a rack. Their voices, "Scale up for tomorrow's shipment. Once the board members confirm, we move." Amma's hand shook as she recorded. She turned to leave and froze. Standing in the doorway was Mensa's silhouette, illuminated by corridor light. He smiled. "Bravo, Amma." Amma's heartbeat thundered as Mensa stepped forward, clapping slowly, "But you're too late." Mensa's voice echoed off stainless steel walls as he advanced. Amma's breaths came quick. Beside her, Sarpong stepped out from the shadows, gun drawn. "Freeze." Mensa raised his hands. "I anticipated you'd come." He gestured to touchscreen panels displaying production logs and financial feeds. "You have proof, but you need context." Amma's eyes narrowed. "What are you playing at?" Mensa gestured to a nearby terminal. "I can walk you through the entire operation, from the lab to the boardroom." He tapped a code. The glass walls slid open, revealing offices with monitors streaming live camera feeds. Techmax holdings, board meetings, financial transactions. Sarpong's phone buzzed. Headquarters ordered immediate extraction. He glanced at Amma. "They fear political fallout." Amma realized, without Mensa's insider knowledge they couldn't tie the chemical operation to him. She swallowed. "You want a deal." Mensa's gaze was cold. "I want immunity. In exchange, I'll testify against the board members funding this." Amma's mind raced. Trusting Mensa was a gamble, but refusing him risked losing the trial. She looked to Sarpong, whose narrowed eyes spoke caution. Amma held out her phone. "Record it. Every word." Mensa nodded. He began. Golden Grove Limited was created to supply VXX to clients willing to eliminate rivals. Board members used it to secure market dominance. His confession spiraled outward, implicating each conspirator by name. As Mensa spoke, Sarpong Live streamed the session to headquarters. The lab's alarms suddenly shrieked. Extraction orders or a trap? Soldiers in riot gear stormed in, led by uniformed Techmax security. Mensa's eyes flickered. "Your guard is down," he said to Amma. "Now decide, walk out with me or be buried with them." Amma's stomach twisted. Outside the flare of lights and shouting, she glimpsed Kofi's silhouette on a giant backdrop. Tonight's investor summit. The city awaited justice. Amma reached for her phone, only to find it dead. The sterile lab erupted into chaos as guards and officers clashed. Amma lunged for an emergency power console and flipped the switch. Lights flickered, then surged. Screens blinked, the recording halted. Mensa smirked. "Technology fails." He stepped forward. Amma squared her shoulders. "Not your words, they've already been transmitted." She tapped her coat pocket. Sarpong's live feed had switched to his backup. Mensa's face flushed. "So this is how you play it." He reached into his coat. Amma braced for a syringe, but instead he produced a stack of flash drives. Every member of the board. Every crime. And a copy for the press waiting downstairs. Amma's heart pounded. Why hand it over? Mensa's gaze softened for a moment. "I want out. And I want them to burn." Sirens wailed outside as Maharani, Techmax's global PR head, stormed in, phone in hand. Live feeds up. Cameras rolling. She thrust her phone at Amma. A news ticker scrolling Mensa's confession. Mensa exhaled. Your final act. He dropped the flash drives on the console. Amma pressed Sarpong's shoulder. Detain him. Officers swarmed Mensa. He offered a nod, half respect, half malice as they carried him away. Amma exhaled, exhaustion and triumph mingling. It's over. Kofi burst in, drenched and furious. Reporters are here. They have every word. He wrapped Amma in a fierce embrace. You did it. Amma closed her eyes. We did it. Outside, a convoy formed to whisk Amma and Kofi to the summit. Amma looked back at the lab, now cordoned off, Mensa's schemes laid bare. As they drove off, Amma's phone vibrated one last time. A message from Daniel, now in solitary. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed my game. Sunrise gilded the Lagos skyline as Amma stepped onto the stage of Techmax's annual summit, now rebranded as a celebration of transparency and resilience. Reporters snapped photos. Investors applauded. Kofi stood beside Amma, introducing her as Chief Security Officer. This is Amma Boateng, Kofi declared, voice ringing with pride. Her courage saved my life and exposed corruption at the highest levels. Amma swallowed, humbled. She nodded to the crowd, memories of broken vials and midnight chases flooding back. Below her, family, friends and village elders watched via live stream, tears of joy in their eyes. After the applause, Amma slipped away to the rooftop terrace, where the morning breeze carried the scent of the lagoon. Kofi joined her, handing her a cup of coffee. You deserve this moment. Amma gazed at the water. I never imagined my path would lead here. Kofi wrapped an arm around her. You were destined for more than a perfect household. Amma smiled, thinking of her parents' sacrifices. She lifted her phone. A flood of messages, congratulations from Nana Ike, Detective Sarpong and even the village chief. Her phone's home screen glowed with a single photo, her parents beneath the mango tree. She turned to Kofi. I have one more task. Kofi raised an eyebrow. What's that? Amma took his hand. A return to my village. I want to build a community center, an education fund for girls like me. Kofi's smile was radiant. Then let's do it. Below, the crowd cheered as the summit's keynote began. Amma and Kofi shared a look. Partners in life, in justice, and in a future they would build together. As the sun rose higher, Amma felt free, no longer just a maid or a whistleblower, but a guardian of truth and hope. The end. Liked it? Thumbs up, subscribe and join the AfriHeart fam. Your support fuels our stories. Until next time.